Well, hello there, and this is Auntie, and I am here to do my review of 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After, Season 9, Episode 14. You play with matches, you get burned. Let's talk about Jasmine, shall we? Oh, yes, we shall.
A sweet old auntie. Thank you, subscribers, to my nieces and nephews, and all the y'all who have been here through the long haul. Shall we get into it? Oh, yes, we shall. It's time for Auntie Advice. Sweet old. It's time for Auntie Advice. Oh, yeah. It's time for Auntie Advice.
Everybody, if this is your first time being here, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get into it, shall we? Oh, yes, we shall. So on this episode of 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After, Jasmine's story, we watch Jasmine as she is trying to maneuver and manipulate all through this pregnancy. Jasmine is absolutely, in my opinion, a very, very wicked and disrespectful, unlearned, uh, 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 um, woman. So in this episode, we see Matt as Matt is trying to prepare himself for this baby's arrival. It is a little girl, and we see Matt, basically, trying to put a playpen together. He and Jasmine were already in another incident with each other, right, in a baby clothes store, where Matt was saying that he would like to have the baby in different colors other than pink. And so he is now having this conversation with Jasmine, downtown to the ranch, and Jasmine is like, pink is my favorite color, this is what I want to do. We also see Jasmine as her dog walks up on her and drinks out of her glass, and Jasmine feels like, you know what, I'd rather have the dog, I'd rather drink behind a dog than drink behind some men. I'm sure she's had her share of men that she has drunk behind. Anyway, so the two of them are talking about the baby. Matt is uncomfortable with the situation that he finds himself in. He had initially got into this relationship with Gino in order to spite Gino, and now he is stuck with a baby. Now, Matt goes on to say that he is Romanian and he is from a very Christian family, but he has not acted very Christianly at all. And so now he's going, the rubber's hitting the road. Reality is coming to him. And he and Jasmine are having this conversation. And he is just really basically saying this relationship is jacked up between the two of us. And Jasmine is why she has no understanding. Matt said, first of all, I'm not supposed to be with you. We've done this the wrong way, according to my standards, and we did this the wrong way. You're not supposed to be living with me. You're not supposed to be pregnant. You're already supposed to be divorced, X, Y, and Z. And Jasmine doesn't have any understanding. I noticed that in this episode and in the previous episode, Jasmine has been very quick to talk about Gino. And she throws Gino in Matt's face to remind Matt that, or to convince Matt or manipulate Matt to think that she is the prize. Jasmine is not the prize, has never been the prize. In my opinion, Jasmine is it's not the garden tool kind. But anyway, so, Matt is really upset about the fact that, Jasmine is pregnant. She has not told her family about Matt, and her family is under the illusion that Jasmine is still living with Gino, and Matt family doesn't know anything about it. Now, Jasmine wants to say something to Matt about the fact that his family does not know anything about her. And he reminds her, your family does not either. Moreover, Jasmine has absolutely left her two little boys. Okay. Now she says that she's trying to work on it. We'll see, how long it takes for Matt to be able to afford for these people to be here. So, in Matt's way of appeasing Jasmine, he decides that he is going to introduce Jasmine to his friend David. I believe that was his name. Y'all let me know if that wasn't his name. Matt and David have been knowing each other for quite some time. The two of them lived together. I believe they said for maybe about 2 to 3 years. And now both of them conveniently are living in Florida together. And I said, what's going on here? I'm not saying that men can't be friends. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is something seems a little, just a little bit off for me for, Matt to be following behind this man and then says, tries to act as if he did not know that he was living there. Okay. And I'm just like, oh, okay, something is like, what's going on between the two of them? He says that, I decided to get in contact with David because, I figured that I would see him eventually. Oh, you know exactly what was going on with David. Oh, yes, you did, Matt. Come on now. I mean, it just is what it is. It's okay. Come on out, boo. Come on out. So anyway, Jasmine is, at home and she is trying to get dressed to go to find an outfit to meet his friend. Matt wants her to dress modestly. We see in the background that the dress is already hanging up on the wall. So we know that this is, fake and scripted because the dress was already hanging on there. They want, Matt to help get her dressed and everything as if Jasmine is helpless. And as we all know, Jasmine, there is nothing helpless or hopeless about Jasmine. Jasmine is absolutely getting the cake and eating it too, or at least she thought she was. So anyway, I digress. So Jasmine is, a little nervous about meeting his friend. Again, she is criticizing Matt about the family not knowing her, and Matt tells us that his mother lives and eats the Bible, that she's very religious, and that he knows that this is going to cause some turmoil, some confusion, some disappointment and everything in his mother, especially with him being um you know uh uh supposed to be a Christian. And I don't understand how Matt got so far off a track with Jasmine that, he has found himself in this situation. He feels like, she was his little side chick or side piece, right? And that, she would be responsible with her body, right? And that she would not be having a baby. But I think that Jasmine is strategic. I think that she was very strategic in making sure that she got pregnant by Matt. Now, you all let me know down in the comment section and in the replay, but I absolutely believe that this is something that Jasmine planned out. Anyway, let's continue on with this week's episode. So Jasmine is, has on her little hot turtleneck red dress, and she goes out and she meets David. And so, Matt has a whole lot of explaining that he has to do with David, and he has to tell him, like basically this girl is pregnant, this was my side chick and all of that kind of stuff. But he did not really want to get into the nitty gritty details. Of course, Jasmine does. She said that she is a very open and honest person, and Jasmine is not an open and honest person at all, like period, point blank, poo. So anyway, she makes a decision that she's going to, tell this, give out all the tea and stuff like that, and just kind of humiliate him. When she sits down with Matt's friend David, right, she is a disrespectful to the Romanian community. And the way that Jasmine just throws words around is uneducated, unlearned, just the bottom of the totem pole, in my opinion. She tells she is dating a Romanian man. So I guess that she has not tried to find out anything about Matt's background or anything like that, what's appropriate to say and what's inappropriate to say. So Jasmine goes on and tells David that when she thinks of Romanian people, the only thing that she can think about is Dracula and gypsies. And I was like, are you kidding me? So I want to take a pause and I want to talk about why it is inappropriate for Jasmine to call this man a gypsy. So, according to ChatGPT, the word gypsy has become a slur. The word gypsy was originally used by Europeans who wrongfully thought the Romani came from Egypt. Over centuries, it picked up negative stereotypes like being thieves, beggars, or nomads, which were used to justify discrimination, violence, and even genocide. According to ChatGPT, during the Holocaust, over 500,000 Romas were killed. So, for many Romanian people today, gypsy feels similar to a racial slur tied to centuries of oppression. And Jasmine sits there and calls this man and tells him that. Now, he kept his face straight because I think that it was just absolutely unbelievable. I think that he did not want to show his whole entire on television, and this is why we got what we got from him. But I thought it was just extremely disrespectful for her to not even know that that was an inappropriate word for her to use. Now, there are shows that are out that used to be on TLC, and one of them was called like what was the show that was? Let me see if I can get the name of the show. Hold on, y'all. Hoping y'all having a great day. My Big Fat American Gypsy Wedding. That was on TLC from 2012 to 2018. And it says that the reality show followed Romani and Irish traveler communities in the United States, focusing on lavish weddings, family traditions, and cultural clashes with modern American life. And I remember that show being on, but that show is now not on the air. As you all heard, it stopped in 2018. I don't know if that was from a public outcry. I know that you can look at repeats of the show. According to ChatGPT, it is no longer being aired. So if you're looking at it now, that show is a is repeats of the show. They have not produced it since 2018. And so, Matt sits there, he says, this is offensive and all that kind of stuff. Basically a lot of Romanians would be offended by it. That's just like if you sit down at the table and you call me a certain thing, or you try to stereotype me, like, right, we're not getting along. But this guy, sits there and he has the grace of a saint, and he just allows her to just spew her stuff because he wants to see what type of person he is. Matt goes on to make little comments and stuff like that, saying that Jasmine was his saying that Jasmine was his roommate. Jasmine said that he is not her roommate and she doesn't know why he called her that. And, these are little stupid jokes and stuff like that he plays. But however, I went back to when Jasmine went to Gino's cousin's birthday party, and this is what she said: "Oh, my roommate." So now we not a roommate, Jasmine? Is that what we're supposed to believe? That you're not a roommate because you're pregnant? Now you think that you're the girlfriend? I don't think that Matt even treats her like a girlfriend. I think he treats her like a roommate and as a partner, someone he is responsible for taking care of financially, because every time she acts up, right, it's just a mess. it's a mess for him that he has to clean up, and then she throws Gino in his face every time she gets a chance. And I just don't know how long this relationship is going to last between the two of them. She has been wanting to, his friend David suggested that he take his roommate and he introduces the roommate to at least his sister. And Matt is not ready to do that because he comes from a religious family. But again, I asked the question, how did you find yourself being in this type of situation with this woman, this evil woman, in my opinion? So anyway, Jasmine gets up from the table. She's crying and upset because Matt is making lighthearted of it. He does not know that Jasmine is going to sit at the table and embarrass him in such a way. And so, Jasmine comes back and, she's like, everything, they asked how she's doing. She said, everything's okay. And then Matt was like, yeah, it's okay. And she was like, no, it's not. Everything isn't okay. She says she thinks that, he and Gino, as far as being bad boyfriends, are neck and neck with one another. And I'm just like, okay, but there is a common denominator. And that common denominator, unfortunately, appears to be Jasmine. And so anyway, after they have this conversation and everything, they go home. And as we all know, Gino had met with his uncle Marco last week. And they had a discussion about Gino writing a letter to Jasmine. And so Gino did indeed do that. He unblocked Jasmine from his cell phone and decided that he was going to read his letter to her. And so, we see him making, Jasmine. So he texted Jasmine and told Jasmine to give him a call when she got the opportunity. He decided, okay, I am going to give her this telephone call I'm going to give him this telephone call that he wants. And so after Jasmine does this, right? After Jasmine does this, she gets on the phone and Matt is in the room, and then Matt is standing outside of the door because he has to supervise and find out what his competition is doing. One of the things that Jasmine said at the table when she was talking to David is that she is wife material. Jasmine said that she is wife material because she's been married twice. And so Matt said unsuccessful marriages. And she said, and that's why I know what a man wants and what a man does not want. She's already in a marriage. She tells the guy that, Matt says that she is currently still married. She tells David, but there's nothing going on with him. Wasn't even making love to him. And I was like, look at how she manipulated and twisted that. The fact of the matter is, we have watched Jasmine season after season, spinoff after spinoff, indicate that Gino is the one who was unattracted to her and did not want to sleep with her. If Jasmine had it her way, she would have still been sleeping with Gino. But Gino made a decision that this is not something that he wanted to do. But she spun it around, and she has a way of spinning things around because I think that Jasmine is accustomed to using her half beauty, okay, because most of it is plastic surgery. Okay, let's go ahead on and tell the truth out here. Half of it is plastic surgery, and the rest of it is fillers and pumps ups and all kinds of stuff that, you know what I'm saying. Exactly. Jasmine is on her third failed marriage. She's a snake. Okay. Venus rising, wanted y'all to know. So anyway, she goes on to the bed, and she's, having this telephone call with Gino. And Gino is not the most articulate person. It's unfortunate because he should have tape recorded it, ran it through Chat GPT and a couple of other AI, and let them say it for him in his voice. I don't know why he decided to call. He's discombobulated and he just don't have it together. Effective had he did what he was supposed to do and just take his time, right? But no, he's in the gym and Jasmine calls him. He's, caught off guard. And of course, we all know that Gino appears to have a learning problem or a comprehension problem or something, child, something going on with Gino. Anyway, I digress. So Gino has this conversation with Jasmine, and he says that he wanted to, read her a letter that he had wrote to her that he wanted her to listen to. And Jasmine said, "You could have texted." And Gino said, "Well, no, if I had texted, then you probably would not have read it." So Gino goes into the letter and talks about, when they got together and everything, he thought that this relationship was built on love. He had spent 2 to 3 years with her, and all that kind of stuff. He started talking about how he believed that Jasmine frauded him by, faking as if she was really in love with him, but she wasn't. He said that, when she came over on a green card, he saw a correlation between that time period with him doing the green card and her time period with her meeting Matt. And as we all know that, this relationship built, Matt had sat there and told his friend Dave she was coming down to the gym and we were just casual friends. And then after that, there was an attraction that grew between us. So all of Gino's suspicions at the time were absolutely accurate, but no one could tell Gino anyway, because the men had oftentimes, okay, doing, I think it was the last resort, the men were telling him the whole entire time that he was being bamboozled, hoodwinked, okay? So anyway, Gino is having his telephone call with Jasmine, and he says that she frauded him for the green card and that she owes him money. And so Jasmine was like, I did not fraud you for the green card. We got married to each other and the marriage didn't work out and I'm moving on. And Gina was like, yeah, but you pregnant with somebody else's man and that baby was supposed to be mine. You were supposed to get pregnant with me. I thought that was irrelevant. I like at this point, Gino, it's no need of talking about that. You never had a baby with her. And one of the things, you make me mad, Gino, because you make me have to agree with Jasmine, but you did not want to be with Jasmine sexually. You just did not. That was not something that you were into, right? And I mean, you be into what you want to be into, but you definitely did not want to be with the girl in any kind of way. So anyway, Gino goes down a laundry list of things that Jasmine owes him and how much money he believes that it costs. He said that he spent $12,000 in the doing the green card process. He sent thousands of dollars over there to Panama. He said that he had paid for the wedding, Jasmine, $1,000 for the wedding, $10,000 for a wedding. Jasmine said she did not want a wedding. He wanted a wedding. So she told, so he was just going down the laundry list and basically saying she owes him anywhere between $60 and $75,000 back. He said he wants $5,000 for the cost of him getting a divorce. What you saying, baby? Thank you, Auntie, because that's the God's on his truth. This is all on Gino and his lack of intimacy with his wife. He rather watch videos and love on himself. Absolutely. And the thing about it was when Jasmine met him, right? That was, in my opinion, that was a sign for her to know, hey, you know what? I need to put the pause on this because I wouldn't date a man that's into that kind of stuff, right? Because there's a fantasy world that I will never be able to fulfill for him. And so I will always be challenged at trying to, hang off the ceiling, doing acrobats and stuff like that. So I'm not interested in guys that are interested in that kind of thing. Some women are into that with their man and so they make it work, but I'm not into it at all. It grosses me out. It's not something I'm into. So again, I would never date a man that's into that kind of thing. You can do what you want to do. You're just not going to date me and do it at the same time. Anyway, I digress. So Gino said that she owed him the money for the lawyer that he's going to have to pay to divorce her. So Jasmine goes out there and says, well, call immigration, what immigration going to do, knick knack, patty, give a dog a bone. And then Gino hits her with, I've already done it. And now Jasmine is into pieces. She is saying that Gino is doing this purposely to affect her while she is pregnant. But Gino said, I just found out that you were pregnant. So, I didn't have an opportunity to cuss you out before. Now, Gino had said to his uncle Marco that when he found out that Jasmine was pregnant, he didn't have the opportunity to say what it was that he really wanted to say to her. And so what basically he was going to be saying, I believe, is that I want you back. Gino went over there to the house with a relationship that was undone, which is why his relationship with the other young lady, Natalie, did not work, because he just was not finished with Jasmine. And so while, there was an illusion that Gino was finished, he was not finished with that relationship. And it has caused him this relationship with Jasmine. Jasmine was trying to hold on, but at the same time, she wanted to have an open relationship, the roommate that she is. And so I don't see, right now I'm looking at social media, as many of you all are. There's always some trick, in my opinion, that Jasmine is coming up with. I think that Jasmine is absolutely an opportunist. I think that, she is living here in America and has no intention. She mentioned that, she is trying to work to get her sons and stuff like that. I don't believe Jasmine one iota. So now that Jasmine, when Jasmine sat down with David, she said that she doesn't know whether or not she's going to get a divorce, because you know what? Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. Jasmine came out her own mouth and said that she did not know whether or not she was going to get a divorce from Gino because she may be deported. Then she says, but you know what? That just means that I'll be living with my family in Panama. But now that I'm pregnant with this baby, everything changed. No, Jasmine, things does not change. I think that you got pregnant with the baby in order to have an anchor and some reason to stay here in the United States. It just is what it is with Jasmine. But Gino, I think, fumbled the ball. I think that Gino absolutely has to take responsibility for the things that he has contributed to in this relationship. I don't know whether or not Gino still has a relationship with Jasmine's boys, but in my opinion, I believe that they both abandoned these boys in order to get the things and to do the things that they wanted to do, not thinking about the repercussions that this would be having on two little boys. Also, I think that Jasmine is really pinking it all up and everything because she did not have a girl and this is her first girl. And so maybe she desired that in previous relationships and, she just ended up having a boy. Anyway, that is the end of my review of Jasmine and Gino. I will be coming back to you all tomorrow with my review of the rest of the cast members. I really want to start bringing and incorporating videos and stuff like that into my video, so it's probably going to be taking like a little longer for me to get these things to you, but I do really want to step up my game. Again, Jasmine, a lot of people out there, just want to close with this, a lot of people on social media are very disgusted with the disrespect that Jasmine gave to the Romanian community. And you know what? Our heart goes out to them. People don't deserve to be stereotyped and discriminated against based on their ethnicity or on their race, color, creed, religion, or anything else, right? You just don't have a right to be, talked about and treated in a poor way because you may be different from someone else. We have to be mindful about what it is that we say about people and what kind of bandwagon we jumping on. She's saying that, even to me, with her saying, I think about Dracula. I don't, but she does. Then again, Jasmine is not a rocket science. She ain't even a good teacher because she was putting the pictures out there and got fired. Anyway, y'all let me know downtown in the comment section what y'all think about it. I love you all so much. And until we meet again, y'all be safe out there in those streets. Bye, y'all.